everybody, and welcome to Roses and Reactions.
The Sunday edition.
The Sunday at 7 o'clock edition. So, should we just go into it?
Why don't you just go ahead and tell everybody your news and what happened over the weekend?
Okay, I'll get to the good news after a bit. Let me go on my rant. Let me cook. So, we originally planned on having the show yesterday, like we always do on Saturday. And beforehand, we went to go eat outside of Steak and Shake. And I think, I don't know exactly what happened. I think you said there was like a down climb.
Yeah, there's a down climb.
Yeah. I missed my footing. I tripped. I got scraped up really bad. Half the skin on my knee got destroyed. I was in immense pain, so.
And your whole wrist and elbow,
yeah,
too.
and I don't know if y'all can see that. It's starting to scab up, but yeah, my everything got scraped up. So that was the thing that happened. Also, my phone screen got completely destroyed. So that's why we originally rescheduled the 4th, but because you can tell the phone screen story.
Okay, so last night I'm calling around and I find a place that has her screen because she has a very old phone, but she doesn't want to trade it in for a new phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I find a place that has the screen. They open at 11. It's going to be all right? No. They tell me the phone will be ready by 2. They're an official Samsung dealer. So I'm like,
okay, well, come back at 2. And we did. We came back at
2:20. And they said, oh, we have to do some diagnostics and her phone doesn't charge well. So we have to order a charger for it so it can't get fixed today. Well, of course, this was unacceptable.
Yeah, instead of them, texting you.
Yeah, they had my number. They didn't text me to let me know this information.
So we found another guy who got the repair done last minute, but we had to reschedule the show from 4 to 7 to get it done. But we got it done. So there. It's been a long weekend, but it's good to see you, Brady. It's good to see you, Lorraine. I am doing much better than I was yesterday when I needed a cane to walk. Actually, the pain in my knee was so bad that I had to use one of my grandmother's canes to get around. But right now I'm doing much better. And good news now?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and share the good news.
All right. I got a job. I start tomorrow. I got a job down here in Fort Myers at Merit's Health Products. And I'm going to be a quality control technician, helping them make mobile scooters and chairs and stuff like that. So that's very exciting for me. I've been thinking for a while that I wouldn't be able to get a job because of my long hiatus after college, graduating. But I did, so there's good news at least.
Yeah, and it's in her wheelhouse. It's what she wanted to do with her,
my degree, quality control.
So this is a starting point for her at long last. So I wish her all the best. It's going to be a big transition. We've been dealing with a lot of big transitions here at the house lately. So just one more transition in life.
So that's the story of my life. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brady. Thank you, Brady. I'm very, very excited and also scared to lose my freedom, but mainly excited. So that's our life story.
Yeah,
that's crazy wild weekend.
That's the abridged version of this
crazy
very long
minus
weekend.
all of the screaming and pain and freaking out and panic attacks. But that's that. And thank you, Lorraine. Thank you for all of your guys' congratulations. It feels really nice to be congratulated by people, especially because this is something, like I said, that's a big deal to me. It's nice to know that people are happy for me. But anyway, what are we doing today? The cursed show that gets delayed twice.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Disney princesses. And we're going to have
this is a test run for doing Disney stuff.
And it's going to be a really informal discussion about the princesses and the various.
We're going to talk about things like what we think about them, their movies, which ones could probably beat each other in a fight, which one of them would be the best cook, stuff like that, basically. Try to make it more interesting than, oh, she's the prettiest.
So if you have questions about the princesses or if you have comments, please join in because you help make the show what it is.
All right.
So we'll get started.
Okay, starting off with our first princess, Snow White, the first ever Disney princess and Disney movie in Technicolor.
Yes,
I don't know why. I love that.
In 1937.
The Technicolor is just something that gets me every time. So, fun fact about this movie before we get into the actual princess. You want to tell the?
You go ahead and tell the story.
So the premiere of this movie, the voice actress for Snow White was actually not invited to the movie. So her and Prince Charming, basically, they showed up and they're like, but we're the voice actors. And they're like, oh, you don't have a ticket. You can't get into the premiere. So they snuck in together to watch the premiere because back then voice actors got no credit. And if you actually go watch the Snow White movie on Disney Plus, they're still not credited. The voice actors at all are still not credited in the credits. So good thing that that's improved over the years because that's horrible.
But this movie was very beautifully
Yes,
animated.
and I remember I was showing Mom to illustrate my point with the voice actors, and we were watching the very last scene of the movie, and we're just like, this movie still looks really good.
Yeah, it sure does.
Hand-drawn cell animation is still absolutely gorgeous, even to this day.
So what are your thoughts on Snow White?
The reason I delay talking about Snow White is because I want to kind of go easy on her because she's the first one, but there's not a lot to talk about. Surprisingly, there's more princesses where there's even less to talk about. But Snow White's a nice
you know, she dealt with the death of her father, I believe.
Yeah, he's not really in the movie. Her dress is pretty. You see, this is what we're gonna do with some of these earlier princesses.
But that whole thing is that, you know, it's not her fault what happens. It's just that she's the fairest in the land, and that's
she's the victim of a series of unfortunate events. Yeah. She's one of those YouTubers. I'm too pretty, basically. How being pretty ruined my life. That's basically Snow White. But I mean, she does have some more personality than some other princesses later on.
She could talk to animals. Basically,
she's nice.
Just like in tune with them. I mean, she's so overly nice that she ends up inviting a stranger into her house and eating a poison apple. That's just how nice she is. You know?
So you see, this is why we didn't do like a traditional ranking of the princesses, because like, what are we supposed to say about Snow White? She's nice. We've been saying that she's nice over and over again, which is what I feel like people do to their coworkers when they really don't like know how to feel about their coworkers, but they want to say something nice about them. So they say, "Oh, they're nice, they're loyal,"
and she was the original.
And she is the original.
So we have to give props to that.
Mm-hmm. You know, before we go on to the big one, can we actually skip over the next one to like continue on with the boring real quick?
Sure.
Sure. So this is the third princess to come out. This would be Sleeping Beauty. We have even less to say about Sleeping Beauty than Snow White. The rest, I swear to God, this isn't going to be the whole show where we're just like, they're nice. Just these two, really, because oh my gosh, Aurora is just like, I didn't even know her name for a while. Aurora is just the most bland princess of all time, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she kind of reminds me of Vanna White, and I brought this up today, you know, because we were trying to talk. We were discussing all these in the car, and Aurora. I mean, basically, we sleep on Aurora because she sleeps through the whole movie, so she really doesn't have that much.
I mean, think back to the Sleeping Beauty movie.
Character.
You think of everything else. You think about the three fairies. You think about Maleficent. You think about the animation, the action. You don't think about Aurora.
No, she's just there.
The only thing that you might think about Aurora is that scene at the end with the pink blue dress that she's like dancing at the end of the movie. But even then, the star is still on the fairies. So there's really like these two of the most early princesses are really nothing. No, we did not include.
We didn't include Princess Leia because
that's cheating.
She is now technically a Disney princess, but she was originally a 20th
She is the
century
princess of Alderaan.
And the princess of Alderaan. But yeah, and she's not a cartoon, so we didn't include Leia. But we give the love to Leia.
We should also mention real quick. We also didn't include Milan, because there's no way of justifying her being a princess at all, I don't think. And we also didn't include Pocahontas, because even though it was agreement that it was a Disney, she should be included.
She's a real
person, and I don't want to open that can of worms, especially because of how different she is from the actual Pocahontas, and that's a topic we, after learning what happened in real history, that's a topic we don't want to discuss on here. But speaking of topics that we don't want to discuss on here, actually it's the reverse of that, topics that we do want to discuss on here. Notice how I skipped a princess, because I got some things to say. about this next one. Cinderella. Okay. Now, before I get into this, Cinderella gets a really bad rap in the past. Okay. Mom, what have you... There's a thing called Cinderella syndrome in modern day.
And I didn't even hear about Cinderella syndrome until you told me
Cinderella
about it.
syndrome is basically something that people use with domestic abuse victims to justify why they don't move away from their abusers, right?
Okay.
So, and you've heard, even if you haven't heard of Cinderella syndrome, you've heard of Cinderella getting a bad rap.
Yeah, she's been getting a bad rap a lot lately.
And that's why they changed her for the 2015 version. They decided to make her more independent, right? To make her more, I guess, girl power, I guess. But also, real quick comments. Yes, Mark, 100% agreed. Never be a Disney princess. Yeah, she marries the son of... Does she marry the son of the... Is he the son of the emperor?
I'm not sure. So Jerome might know more than we do.
But... You know what? I'll make you a deal, Jerome. If we get to the end of this and we still need time, she can go on about for like 15 minutes about Ming Na Wen. Okay?
Yeah, I like Ming Na Wen.
She loves Ming Na Wen.
I think she's awesome.
She loves Ming Na Wen.
Great actress.
Mm-hmm.
Nice person.
But back to Cinderella. Cinderella is my favorite of these three classic Disney princesses. People who say that she's passive or that she's just like I guess like subservient have not seen this movie. Okay, she is not subservient in the least. Cinderella is in a bad situation, but she refuses to let that compromise her being a good person, which I think makes her the best role model out of these original three girls. She's in a trash situation, but that doesn't compromise her ability to be nice to those around her. And as for the subservient claim, quote unquote, she doesn't do that. There's like scenes in the movie where the cat's like causing her issues while she's cleaning, and she throws the bucket at the cat. She don't play those games. Another thing that I like, that I always point out, is between the 2015 version and the what year did Cinderella come out? Do we not know?
In the 40s.
In the 40s.
I'm not sure.
The 40s one is actually more like proactive. Like there's two different scenes. You know, when the stepmother locks her in the room while they're doing the shoe fitting thing at the end of the movie with the prince with the glass slipper. In the 2015 version, she basically goes to a window and sings a song about how depressed she is to be stuck in there. And in the old 40s version, she's like banging on the door. She's trying to get out. She's using her animal friends to help her get out. She's doing it. She's being more proactive than that girl just singing at the window, singing "Woe is me." So I will never understand the slander for Cinderella. She's one of my favorite Disney princesses. She's always been. As a kid, she was always my favorite of the original three. And I hate how she's got the worst rap out of all of them.
Yeah.
If anybody should have got a worse rap for female characters, it should have been Aurora by far. Jesus.
And the reason why I call her the Vanna White is because of the spin. the spindle.
Oh my god!
And then she,
yeah, she spin the wheel.
She spin the wheel, and the spindle. She falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I call her the Vanna White.
Brady.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's okay, Brady.
And you know what? I know some people consider her a princess for Disney, but Mark obviously does not. But she is our special Star Wars princess always.
She is. If we're gonna count Princess Leia and Disney princesses, she's automatically number one. Okay, listen, she's automatically number one, which is why we can't count her. Okay,
and she's not a cartoon,
mm-hmm.
So and I know there's cartoons later, but we're not counting
that. Okay. And before we move on to Cinderella, I just want to point out the best fan fiction for Cinderella I've ever read or watched. Cinderella 3: A Twist in Time is the best Disney sequel. Don't come at me. This was made by fan fiction writers with the most fan fiction plot ever. So the evil stepmother gets the magic wand and makes it go back in time so one of the evil stepsisters' feet matches the magic slipper. And this sounds so fan fiction-y. And it is, in the best way. So after that, Cinderella has to go and earn her happy ending. They give the prince more character. They give the evil stepsisters more character. The evil stepmother is in top form. It is the best Disney sequel. And it is literally one of the only reasons, not one of the only, but main reason why I love Cinderella so much. Absolutely phenomenal movie. I couldn't not bring it up here. I think it was one of the only Disney sequels you bought me on DVD.
Well, I
For
put
good
in
reason.
some other ones, but this one you seem to really like.
I did. In comparison to some of the other Disney sequels, which are horrible, this is one of the good ones. So those are our 3 core Disney princesses. If you notice we didn't have a lot to say, that's because there's not a lot to say, really. You saw Sleeping Beauty in theaters though, and
I saw Sleeping Beauty in theaters.
And you
not
thought-
when it originally came out, but I saw both back in the 80s.
Yeah, what
while I
princess
was in
is
high
playing
school.
with a spin wheel? I know. She's just like I was literally thinking before we went into this, did she even have any lines? Does she even have any lines?
Yeah, we were trying to think of any dialogue, and there's very little dialogue with Aurora.
She literally is. She's so pretty too.
She's gorgeous, and you know, but the story is more maleficent story.
I guess
really,
that's
and-
why she got the. I guess that's why she got the remake movie-ish thing rather than Aurora. Aurora was
But
so
yeah.
boring. They didn't even want to remake her movie.
back in the 80s, it was either middle school or early high school. It could have been, I think it was mostly middle school. They re-released out in the theater almost back to back Cinderella
Narration.
and
That's right.
and Sleeping Beauty. And
You went to go see both.
I went to see both.
And being the intellectual that you are, you preferred Cinderella.
Well, I love Cinderella. I think Cinderella is a very beautiful movie. It's very well done.
It's so gorgeous.
It keeps
the dressing, the transformation with the dress is still one of the best pieces of animation ever.
It just keeps, you know, it has a really good flow. And out of the 3 of those 3 films, the original ones, I thought Sleeping Beauty, I was very bored.
Did I get it right? Aurora was the princess with the least dialogue? I thought so. Maybe that's why she's so boring. I just find it fascinating how boring Aurora is, because even with Snow White, where she's like literally made to just be a princess with no character, just by her existing in the story and her role and being the fairest of them all because of her personality as a nice person, automatically gives her more character.
She's in the film most of the time. Okay, she sings with the birds. She cleans the house. She kisses Dopey on the head. They have that great dance scene. So she actually, you know, I mean, she's just a happy person. And and just because she's a happy person doesn't mean that she isn't, you know, I mean, she's a great princess. It's just that she didn't have, you know,
her dress is one of the best.
There's not a lot of
There's not a lot of conflict there because, you know,
she's just a nice person.
It's just an original fairy tale. This is before Disney started to go off on their own, make their own versions of these fairy tales. But those are the original 3 princesses, and
go ahead. Read Anne Rice's version of Sleeping Beauty. I didn't even know that existed. I didn't even know about that.
I'm kind of interested, not gonna lie.
You probably like Anne Rice. You probably like Anne Rice's stuff, and her stuff is very
raunchy,
mature.
Oh, I have a feeling I love this woman. I'm not going to go into that. That's a private matter, but
let's
just
go
know
ahead.
if you want to know something about that side of me, I probably really like Anne Rice. Moving on to the Renaissance era princesses, and thank God we have a character finally. Somebody with an actual personality. Ariel. So, this was your father's favorite film.
This was my father's favorite film. Yeah, Disney film. Yes.
Disney film. Yes.
Yeah.
So, Ariel, finally, we've got a personality. People do have gripes. People find gripes with every one of these princesses to justify why Disney princesses are bad role models.
This is based on a story by Hans Christian Andersen, and they take big liberties with the story.
They do that with Cinderella. They do that with almost all of these stories. All of these stories have horrible, horrible morals at end. We all know Ariel dies to the sea foam, and Cinderella, the evil stepsisters, get their eyes pecked out by crows. These are how they go. I don't know why Ariel, the Ariel one, is such a big deal to you.
Well, I guess because really The Little Mermaid was one of the first princess films that came out in the theaters while I was alive. I mean, the first
it would have to be the first.
I mean, you had Cinderella, and they were all, this was all, Disney just used to rehash their same old movies.
Because they were broke.
And I think, I think that they would still make more money showing the old stuff than all this new stuff, but that's neither here nor there, okay? But, Ariel came out at a time, and when I think people were really needing, a happy happy stories.
It'd be fun times.
And this movie just it was just a banger, and people little children instantly fell in love with this movie.
The issue that people bring up when they bring up Ariel, the problems that they have with Little Mermaid or Ariel, is they say that she doesn't learn anything, that she wants something, she wants to go to the surface, and that she doesn't learn anything, and she just gets what she wants by the end of the movie. And now my issue with this complaint is, do these people know what a static character is? In stories, you've got static characters and you've got dynamic characters. Neither one of these are bad. Dynamic characters are characters who grow and change throughout the film. And static characters are characters who don't change throughout the film or story or whatever. And they have the same goals throughout. Now, not one is better than the other. So dynamic characters are nice, and even a good example in The Little Mermaid of a dynamic character would be Sebastian, who goes originally from wanting to keep Ariel under the sea to eventually learning to give her her own life and respect what she wants, you know? So I don't see any problem with Ariel starting out with wanting to go to the surface and eventually achieving her goals. I see no problem with this. I don't think that makes her a boring character at all. I think people are really reaching when they call that a complaint with this film. But Ariel is she is the, I think, embodiment of where we start getting to the I want princesses, the princesses who want something more in their life. She is the first big example of this. I don't think Cinderella wanted more in her life, but I don't know if she had a big I want song about it. Snow White didn't want any change in her life. She was forced out by her horrible, I think it's stepmom. Isn't the evil queen her stepmom?
Mm-hmm.
And Aurora didn't want anything because she is a boring, bland character. So Ariel is the embodiment of the I want princess, and I think they did pretty good. She's a very sympathetic character. I think everybody can relate to being stuck in the same place that you've always been in and wanting to branch out more.
Yeah, and it's also a story about being manipulated. You know, taking advantage of what she wants.
That people say, they're like, oh, she gave up her voice for a boy, and they're like, they like raise their torches and pitchforks saying how unfeminist it is. But I would actually argue that that's actually kind of feminist if you think about it in terms of she knows what she wants as a woman. She wants this guy. Okay, so she's going to give up her voice to get this guy. And it's not like she knows she's giving up her voice permanently. She has the confidence to say, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to kiss him by this time. And then I'm going to get my voice back. She's confident in her ability to do this. And so she does it. I don't see how I can see on the surface how there would be an anti-women, I guess, implication to that. But there really isn't, in my opinion, if you look at it from the context of the film. What do you think about Ariel? Because she was your first Disney princess, I think, correct?
Yeah, she was. I really liked Ariel a lot. I think,
Oh, yes, yeah, there comes Mark. She disrespected her dad. Oh, yes. Sebastian was great, which is why the remake is horrible. Have you seen that Disney like original movie CGI in the remake?
So we did not see the film,
but I would agree
just what we've seen
with
from
Lorraine.
the previews.
She was a typical teenager, and you know what?
I agree with that.
I agree with that in a good way. She was bratty. She was angsty. She wanted something. She didn't want to do what her dad wanted. And you know what? That kind of makes her more realistic in a way that all these other previous princesses really don't have. You know?
That's very true.
But speaking of characters who are typical, we're going to move on to a character who really wasn't typical for the time. Now, there's a story behind the picture I chose for this one too. This is Belle. I originally had a picture of her in a yellow dress, but then I saw this one and I'm like, it's from the best song in all of Disney, which is Belle. So, Belle, oh my gosh. Fun fact about her, she is not a huge fan of animation.
I was not. I used to not be a big fan of animation.
Even she, from the time I was a kid, loved Beauty and the Beast.
I saw Beauty and the Beast in the theater when it came out and absolutely fell in love with it and bought it the first week it came out on VHS. Oh my God. And they were very expensive.
Mark, chill.
Wow. Okay.
Mark, chill. Oh my God.
He's got some
You got some beef with Ariel, okay?
He's got Ariel beef.
Yeah, there, good. At least we can still be friends, Mark. We both agree with Belle. Belle is no. Okay. Wish I had a ponytail here so I could like put my hair up. No, listen. It's not Stockholm syndrome. I will fight anybody who says this. She doesn't start liking the Beast until he stops being awful. She wasn't attracted to him at all until he stopped being an awful person. I understand the Stockholm syndrome is good to make fun of, but it's not serious. Okay?
She doesn't agree with
I
that.
don't agree with that at all, because she doesn't start just like falling in love with him because he kidnapped him. No, she only starts falling in love with him when he starts giving her stuff that shows that he respects her as an individual and that he stops being so aggro towards her. These are the things that make her attracted to him. It isn't Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, he ends up taking an interest in her and gives her that library and everything.
But
so that's
that's why it's a love story, not a Stockholm syndrome horror movie story.
But she made the choice to live there to save her dad,
which is automatically more agency than half of the other princesses we've talked about, Aurora. But who decided, yes, I will prick my finger on the spinning wheel for, I guess, destiny. But anyway, we're going in on Aurora this time. But back to Belle. Belle has the best I Want song in the entirety of Disney, and the best song in the entire Disney. Belle is the best song in the entirety of Disney. I think I've said this like 5 times because it's true.
Yeah, you love that.
Yes, I do. The song is so good. It works as an I Want song. It works as an opening introduction song to set up the setting.
With the whole town.
It acts as an introduction to the villain because Gaston gets his little verse there. It is so good that I can't. But speaking of so good, Belle herself is such a captivating character. She is a bookworm, which automatically differentiates her from literally every other fashion model of a Disney princess that we've discussed up so far. She's quirky, she's weird, but not in that awkward, I'm not like other girls sort of way, because she doesn't really address it. She's never talking down to these other girls. She's never pointing out she's never pointing out herself how different she is from everybody else. She doesn't care. She wants to read her books and basically wish for adventure herself. That's all she wants. And I really, really respect that about her. She's a great role model for little girls, in my opinion. What are your thoughts, Mom? Because I know Belle's your favorite by far out of all these.
Yeah, what I like about Belle is that I saw a lot of myself in Belle. She's, she's not that nobody really likes her in the town. She's kind of an outcast, they think she's weird and different, but she makes her own way and she makes the best out of her life and her best life. And that's what I really liked about her. And yes, she ends up falling in love with the Beast and all that. Mm-hmm. But I believe that, I really do believe she had a choice in the matter. And if things hadn't changed with him, he's the one who's changing. She's seeing different stuff in him. Hence that song by Mrs. Potts, and that whole montage where she sees
really does
something else.
Soundtrack.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, we were
today.
talking about it, and we're like, this movie has the best Disney soundtrack.
Yeah, we were
the songs,
and that's hard to, I mean, it's really. Little Mermaid is great soundtrack, but this one beats it. But it's just we could name it off the top of our head. We listen to those songs more than anyone.
But by the way, everybody seems so hung up on people. They like this should just be like a tier list of how respectful the Disney princesses are to their fathers. Which yes, she is very respectful to her father to the point where she literally sacrificed herself for him. So there's that. But Belle is just an overall great princess, and I think we can both agree on that, correct? Yeah. Now here's a princess that we both can't agree on, Jasmine. Oh gosh, this is going to be, I think, our first real debate in all of this, because I love Jasmine.
I really don't think
she doesn't like Aladdin. Did I say Aladdin?
You did. You did.
You got to tell them why I said Aladdin real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Why do I?
If you have watched this for a while, we did a show about.
I don't know if we did a show. I think we did it on Saturday morning cartoon.
We did. We did a show
about bootlegs. Can't believe it's not Disney. And we talked about this awful movie called Aladdin with like the worst, which might actually, like in all seriousness, be the worst animated movie of all time.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's so bad.
It's so bad. It's funny. So now I can't say Aladdin with a straight face anymore. This horrible movie has corrupted me. But I love Aladdin. She is one of the 2 people in the world that doesn't like Aladdin the movie.
I'm not a big Aladdin fan at all. But
Jasmine. Okay,
so,
go ahead.
So I just don't think Jasmine just doesn't do it for me. I just find her kind of dull.
Aladdin also has a really, really, really good soundtrack.
That is true.
Even she can admit that Aladdin has a good soundtrack.
It's Brady's favorite.
Oh, Jasmine is your favorite princess. She has this. I agree. Here's my thing I like about Jasmine. I think she perfects what they might have been going for with Ariel. Ariel's whole thing was she is the typical teenager. She doesn't want to respect what her father wants for her. Jasmine is the perfection of this idea. She also doesn't want to do what her father wants for her. She doesn't want to marry these guys. She's sort of like, I just thought of it. She's like a combination between Belle and Ariel. She wants something else in her life, but like Ariel. But she doesn't want to like marry the typical men in her life. Like Belle didn't want to marry Gaston. So in that way, she's sort of a culmination. And I think she finds the best of both worlds. She's definitely our best rebellious princess, in my opinion. She has a lot of character throughout the film, and even though she's not the main star of the film, it's Aladdin, she has a lot of development throughout that makes her a worthy love interest, I would say. A better love interest than some modern movies actually put out. So that's why I really
agree with you on that. Yeah, on second thought, yeah, I have to.
Oh, really? Did I actually, for the first time in history, did I change your mind?
Yeah, because I'm thinking about a whole new world and that.
Now am I like going to change your mind about Aladdin here real quick?
Well, not completely, but
yeah. Jasmine's outfit is also so good. Oh, but he hates the whole New World song. Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Why do you hate it? I mean, like, it played on the radio. Did it play on the radio ad nauseum? And which do you hate worse, that or Let It Go? Okay, that's a question for you. Okay, Mark. Yes,
you know what?
Yeah.
I gotta agree, honestly. But anyway. I think, and those are our Disney Renaissance princesses. Isn't it weird? I didn't go into this, but it's like 3 and 3.
Oh,
the Renaissance.
I didn't even realize that.
And now we're this one is sort of an outlier compared to those 3. But we wanted to include her anyway, even though you've never seen this movie.
I haven't, but I've heard
things. Me and my little brother watched this movie on loop as a kid. This is one of our first Disney movies, I think.
I think so.
This was our first, me and Christopher's first Disney princess movie.
This is I think his favorite.
His favorite, really?
I think so, yeah.
That would be Tiana from Princess and the Frog. The last Disney, I believe, 2D animated movie, and it's such a shame because it's so good. Tiana is such a good princess. I mean, her development throughout the film, actually, I wouldn't say she even has that much development. She sort of she's kind of a dynamic character. She's mostly a static character, and she knows what her goals are. She wants to own a restaurant because that was her father's dream, and after he passed away, she wants to help him out with that. But she does grow in the sense that she learns to respect our main prince of the film, Naveed, and help him out and learn that maybe other people have goals and aspirations as well. And just because he's a prince doesn't automatically make him, I guess, the kind of person that she thought he was, which was just all high and mighty and never had to work in a day in his life. And she learns to respect him as a person. So I really do appreciate that about her character. Something else that I really appreciate about Tiana's character is just how determined she is. She is the embodiment of get stuff done. Throughout the entire movie, even after she's turned into a frog, she's down to get stuff done. She might be one of the most proactive princesses that we've talked about so far. She has a mission. She wants to accomplish it. And in the end, there's stuff along the way that gets in her way, and she just barrels through it. And that's something that I can appreciate definitely. She's definitely the most hardworking princess that we have on this list by far. And I know you can't say a lot about it because you haven't heard about the movie.
Well, I knew about the movie, and you guys even owned it on DVD, but it was something that you guys watched, and I've seen bits and pieces, but I don't have enough information to really put it on.
Yes, Jerome. She does not start out as a princess, but we decided to include her because she does technically become a princess at the end when she marries Naveed, which is why we included her on the list. Also, I just really wanted to talk about Tiana. And Mark, I would definitely recommend it. It's the movie Princess of the Frog is a really good movie with a very strong female lead, a very strong male love interest, a very strong villain, and just a very interesting setting with New Orleans in the early 1900s. A very, very, very interesting movie, very interesting setting, and overall really interesting princess. And speaking of interesting princesses, let's talk about the one that I think we probably will have one of the most things to say about, mostly because she got her own series, Rapunzel. This is the only Disney princess I think my dad likes.
We saw this. We all saw this as
Tangled.
a family, Tangled as a family, in the theater, and we all loved it. I think we might have seen it.
We saw it twice. We saw it twice.
Yeah.
We used to play games with it. We were really, really into Tangled. It came out 2010.
Okay.
And then Rapunzel later on, like almost a decade later, I think, got her own series, which is also surprisingly really good. But Rapunzel as a character is just so interesting. Let's start off with like the basic fundamentals. She's a painter. She's an artist. This automatically gives her more defining features than a lot of the princesses before her. Think about what is the main hobby? What are the main interests of a lot of our princesses? With Belle, you have reading.
Yeah.
With Tiana, her thing is more of she's more focused. She's more career focused. But if we're talking about like main hobbies in general, you don't get a lot out of that from our
Aurora likes sewing too much, I guess.
I guess she got that going for her. She likes to sew.
Yeah.
But Rapunzel is a painter, which automatically makes her more, I guess, more relatable than a lot of these other princesses. She also is very spunky, very, I guess I would say, energetic.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that I really like about her character.
She might even have ADHD.
It honestly does feel like that sometimes, especially that scene in the film where she's like going around like, my mom's going to kill me. I love it here. My mom's going to kill me. I love it here. She is a very, very, very interesting princess. And I think this is one of Disney's first CGI movies. Mm-hmm. And she's a great introduction to our CGI princesses as a whole. Her thing at the end, and I think this is like something that made me cry. Like even I rewatched this movie as an adult. And I still cry at the ending scene because her romance with Flynn is so good.
Yeah, that's one of the best romances. Probably one of the best romances in all the Disney movies.
It's so good. It's so well. And at the end where she like tells her mom, listen, if you let me heal him, I'll go with you. If you don't, I'm going to fight you the whole way. I'll fight you the whole way. But if you let me heal him, I will go with you without a fight. And then he cuts off her hair because he doesn't want that for her. That is like the embodiment of true love, of like a well-defined couple, people who are willing to sacrifice for one another. It's so well written. Her relationship with the animal sidekicks is so good. Her active energy, her positive energy is so good. And I just thought about this. She is like the great like reflection of Snow White. Snow White is also the embodiment of somebody who's kind and nice and trusting. But so is Rapunzel. She's kind and nice and trusting, but they show it more through her actions. They don't just say she's kind and nice and trusting.
And you can also say that there's a lot of the Cinderella aspect to her because Cinderella was stuck in a situation, stuck in that house doing the cleaning and stuff. And here's Rapunzel. She's stuck in this tower with no way really to get out. Mm-hmm. Her mom does all her adopted mom.
What a great villain.
She's so good.
She's the embodiment of gaslighting.
Yeah, she really is.
She is so good at manipulating her daughter throughout the film. Mother Gothel is up in the discussion for best Disney villains, honestly.
I agree.
But I'm glad that we're to see a consensus that people like this movie, because this is honestly one of our favorite movies. Also agree, Jerome, the scene in the bar, the I Have a Dream scene is so good. And that's the scene that I was thinking about when I was considering her as a reflection to Snow White, almost, because it's just the embodiment to show off her positivity, her naivete, her willingness to look at people and basically see the best in them. And that's something that also Snow White has, but it's Rapunzel embodies it, I guess, in a more three-dimensional way.
I think, yeah, she's a more well-defined character than a lot of the early princesses, for sure. And even, you know, she takes it up a few notches from even Jasmine and Ariel. So
now, we've been pretty safe, I would say, throughout this whole thing when talking about princesses. No real hot takes.
Here we go.
I would say.
Here we
but
go.
Speaking of the opposite of a hot take, well, not really because it is a hot take, but Elsa is trash. I hate Elsa with I don't even want to say every fiber of my being. I don't hate her that much. She's boring. She's so boring.
And all the little girls fainted.
She is. Let me go in. Well, you know what? Let's talk about these two in tandem because we have Anna and Elsa on here. Anna is so much better than Elsa, and even I don't like Anna like that much. But compared to Elsa, she is leagues above. Elsa's whole thing in the movie is about being scared to show her true self, and then she has a song which Jerome hates, and discovers that she can be her true self. This happens in the span of 2 minutes because there's barely any screen time on her, right? So then it happens that she decides, oh no, I can't because I'll hurt Anna. And then at the end of the movie, it's okay, yeah, everything's great because I love my sister. And then at Frozen 2, she leaves her sister. So that's Elsa's character, pretty much summed up. She's really boring. You have anything to say because you saw the movie?
I like the movie a lot.
I'm afraid to click on these comments. I don't know if I'm going to get agreements or if I'm going to get destroyed. Let's find out. Move along. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't think he likes Frozen.
Frozen is mid. Okay, listen. As a kid, you gotta love it. It's 2013 and everybody's singing Let It Go out loud in the school hallway, okay? But of course, I gotta say, sorry, but I drank the Kool-Aid. I was also singing Let It Go in the school hallway.
It's like I bought
I've
you.
learned.
I remember I bought you this painted picture of Elsa, and you were like happy about it. And now I guess you've had like second thoughts.
I had second thoughts because I realized that I was gaslit by society because the movie isn't that good, guys.
There's like so many problematic issues.
There's so many issues with Frozen. I guess we should talk about Anna. Anna is slightly better. She's energetic. She's like, but she's kind of like a Rapunzel wannabe, in my opinion. But I do like the naivete aspect of her, like thinking that Princess Isis. I like how something I will give compliments to Frozen is how they take the traditional Disney prince and princess will get married tomorrow thing and give that to Anna. But it makes sense for her to think that because she grew up in a castle and literally doesn't know how the outside world works. So they take that traditional Disney standard, give it to Anna, and then have the other characters be like, what the heck are you talking about? That's super unhealthy. I will say, I like that part of the film. That's one of the only things.
It kind of does take the fall in love with the prince, first love at first sight thing, and flip it on its ear.
Mm-hmm.
And they have that really cute song together, and then it turns out that he's totally evil anyway.
Yeah, which makes no sense because you see him acting like nice when nobody's looking. That's like the embodiment of just like trying to fool the audience. Okay, I'm just going to throw that up there and say nothing. I'm just going to throw that up there.
Okay.
We're not getting political here, but...
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now, Frozen was pretty bad.
I think that means that Mark really hates Frozen. Okay.
Well, I'm just going to say that I also really don't care for Frozen.
Yeah.
But if you do care for Frozen... congratulations, you're with a bunch of other people, and that's okay. It's one of those movies where I'm not gonna completely judge you for if you like Frozen, fine. You have bad taste, but I'm not gonna go after
I
you.
wouldn't even say that. It's just, it was just for its time. It became a phenomenon, and maybe overhyped. It was like maybe the Twilight of Disney films, but I like Twilight. But I'm just putting that as a comparison.
But speaking of bad movies.
Here's
okay,
one
this is an interesting concept.
So much potential.
This has so much potential. We're counting her before anybody comes at us. The only reason we're including this princess is because it's the only one Pixar has ever done. Okay, so don't come at us. Merida from Brave. Show of hands. Who forgot this movie existed?
I knew it existed.
Who forgot this movie existed?
I really thought it was a Disney film, and she's like, no, Mom.
No,
and we had this big argument.
And then I Googled it, and I said it's Pixar. And then you still, even after Google said it was Pixar, you still refused to admit.
Yeah, I did.
So Brave is a trash movie, guys. Let's be real. This movie's boring.
We went and saw this in the theater because we thought it was good. It looked so good. You got this fiery, beautiful.
Whoa. You know what, Mark? I'm gonna say it though. More valid than liking Frozen. More valid opinion than liking Frozen. Do people like Wait. Do people like Brave now?
Maybe it was only us that didn't like Brave.
Wait, are we the only? Wait, hold up. Are we the only ones? Wait, hold up, Mary. Maybe we're not the only ones. Because Brave is a movie. Let's just go into Brave before we go into Merida. Let's just go into Brave for a second because Brave is an interesting concept. There are so many interesting things about this film. It has a recipe for a film that we both would really enjoy.
Yeah,
the mother-daughter dynamic had such a potential to be such a good thing because Disney doesn't explore that often. It's usually about dads, Belle and Maurice, Ariel and Trident, so on and so forth, and they do this. So focusing on a mother-daughter concept could be really interesting. And even the bear concept could have worked within the framing device of Celtic mythology. But the movie lags in a lot of places. It drags, at least in our opinion.
Yeah.
But something that I will give this movie credit for, because we're not rating the movies here. We're rating the princesses.
And she's gorgeous.
And Merida is a pretty damn good princess.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
Merida is so powerful as a female protagonist. And what year did this come out? Like early 2010s?
I'd have to say it's got to be maybe, I want to say 2012, somewhere around there.
No, it probably came out in 2013, so it had to come out after that. But Merida is such a good, she is the example of a really good, strong female character done very well. Like, it felt like they wanted to do something with Merida's character instead of just making her be like, yeah, look at me. I'm a strong female character. You know what? Which is something that you see and is really cringy to see, especially as two women. It's something very hard to see when you feel like you're just putting your female character in here to get some social brownie points. Merida felt like they were trying to tell a story with her because her being the way that she is in direct conflict with her mom, which starts the whole plot of the story. Merida is, I love her, okay? I wish she was in a better film.
Yeah, that's true. She deserved a better movie.
She deserved a better movie, in my opinion. Merida equals Gwen.
Yeah, I can see that. Jerome. The red hair aside, character-wise, I can totally see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ralph Breaks the Internet thinks that Merida is a Disney princess. Why'd you have to bring up Ralph Breaks the Internet?
But yeah. I mean, I seriously thought she was. I honestly.
So we're counting her either way. And, but like we said, Merida, good character, should have been in a better movie. You know who didn't have to be in a better movie to be a good character, though?
Mark said he's canceled our show because we're not big on Brave. Listen. The movie is just slow paced, in our opinion. I was kind of bored, with the whole bear.
Mom, what are you trying
stuff.
to do? It's Mark. Mark has made his decision.
I'm just trying to appeal.
There's no appealing to the court of Mark, Mom. He's made his decision. This is our last show, guys. We're sorry.
Merida is also in the Walt Disney World Parade. So see, Lorraine is trying to say yes. She yeah, but so is Toy Story. So I guess tomato. Pixar, isn't it just
Pixar
really?
is Disney. Pixar is Disney. I'm
really
tired
Disney?
of this. It really is Disney. I'm tired of this like debate. It's owned by Disney. Pixar is Disney. Come on, guys.
Here, let's look at this one.
My Great East. Oh,
that's
honestly so wholesome.
That really is.
That really is wholesome. Speaking of wholesome, Moana. Now, we had an argument about whether to originally include this character because she's not technically a princess. But we decided to include her because Moana is the last Disney movie you really, really saw.
Yes. I saw it later on. You guys have seen it a lot more than me. So
this is the embodiment of a great movie, great character. Moana is so strong. I absolutely adore her. She is one of the best depictions of the chosen one plot that I think I've ever seen. Because you don't really realize that she's a chosen one plot trope until they bring it up in the movie itself. I love so many things about her. I love how independent she is. I love how she has to struggle with her duty to protect the island versus her own wants and needs, which is something that I think everybody has struggled with. Anybody who has had kids, has had to struggle with their duty of wanting to do what they want to do versus the responsibility that they have to carry. I also really love, this is just a me personal concept, how her relationship with Maui never turned romantic. Because you know how refreshing it is to have a female and male main leads of a movie to just be friends. Do you know how nice that is? It's really nice and it's different and something that I wish I could see more because it's really true. Not every female and male relationship in the world is romantic.
This is true.
So that's something that I really appreciate about the movie. You only saw this movie once, but I remember you really did like Moana.
Oh, I loved it a lot, yeah.
You want to go into what your thoughts are regarding her?
Well, what I want to say
Jenny. Or Jennifer.
I'm trying to think about Moana. I mean, the thing is that, there was like a really strong family, like female family oriented with the whole thing with the grandmother. And I really liked that whole grandmother plot twist about how she died and became a stingray and helped guide her on her way. And, this is another one that dealt with, more like, just like Brave kind of, you've got the female instead of the male mother-daughter dynamic. You've got, this one's like more like grandmother, granddaughter dynamic.
Yeah, the scene with the grandmother dying was like, I think that made you cry. I remember that made you cry. Also, Mark, I want to just bring up real quick that technically she's the daughter of the chief. She's not a princess, but she fulfills the role, so I guess we can count her. But, oh god, this should just be a ranking of princesses who disobeyed their dad.
Well, yeah. But she ended up saving the world and saving her hometown. So that's something. I really like Moana. I'm hoping that maybe this live version might actually work.
No, impossible. No Disney live action remake can ever work. It is a rule of the world that world must follow. All Disney live action remakes must be awful / boring.
I have to disagree because Christopher had me watch the 101
That does
Dalmatians.
not count. That does not count. I'm talking about anything after Jungle Book counts.
You mean Jungle Book the movie?
The live action. Yes. Anything after the live action Jungle Book counts as a Disney live action remake. Before then, they put effort into them.
Oh, we got more stuff on here.
Saved her heritage because her dad was sick. Yeah. I agree with that. She had a reason to disrespect her father in this movie, I would say. Unlike Ariel, you can make the argument that she actually had Jenny, you got to bring up the Forbidden Princess.
Yeah. I don't think Jen was started in the beginning of the show. We didn't include Pocahontas on this list because she's a real life person,
and we don't want to talk about that can of worms.
In that story, we were reading about what really happened, and
we're like, oh no, they encouraged her to convert to Christianity. I wonder what that means.
Encouraged.
But anyway.
But I know that there are people who do like Pocahontas as a film. I to be honest with you, I never saw it. I think Rachel saw it.
I did.
And her
my little brother hates it with a burning passion.
He said he can't stand it. I guess because they played it ad nauseum when he was in.
Mm-hmm. Also, he's a big history buff, and he can't.
Oh yeah, that's also true. My son is a huge history buff, so he just can't do fake history.
Yeah, you got it, Jenny.
Yeah.
But
what did Mark say about Pocahontas?
Pocahontas is his number one.
Oh, that's really interesting.
That's the most interesting take I have ever heard, ever. Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard that take before. That's just like your friend whose favorite movie is the Aristocats.
Yeah, I have a friend whose favorite movie is the Aristocats, and a lot of people don't like Aristocats. And that is her favorite Disney film.
So, speaking of, well, I tried to make a transition there, but it just didn't work.
So since we have a little bit more time, we can talk about Mulan for a minute.
Mulan's awesome. Like, we don't have a picture of her up because we didn't expect to do it, but Mulan is awesome. Mulan's an awesome character, and now I'm going to give Mom the field to talk about Ming Na Wen. Go ahead.
I love Ming Na Wen, and she's just a breath of fresh air. If you ever meet her on the convention circuit, she's genuinely a good person inside and out. And she also starred in Joy Luck Club, which is one of my all-time favorite books. So, Mulan is a great character.
Mulan is a great female character.
A wonderful story, and it's a classic. I bet she's just not really
a princess.
Technically a princess.
So to start in Walk of Fame.
She did. That's wonderful. I didn't know. That's
and this is like coming from the number one Ming Na Wen stand that existed.
And I mean, before all the Star Wars stuff, I loved her when she was, unknown.
You know what? Lorraine brings up a good point. Did you know Snow White was 14?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know Snow White was 14.
You know what? We gotta play a game real quick. Give me a second, guys. We're gonna look up Disney princess's age, and we're just gonna go through this real quick. Gosh. All right, Snow White.
Okay.
So here we go. Read these out.
Okay. So Snow White was 14, Jasmine 15. Ariel, Aurora, and Merida and Mulan were all 16 years old. Belle is almost an adult. She's 17 years old.
They aged up Pocahontas to 18 years old. And Rapunzel was also 18-year-old. And Cinderella and Tiana were 19 years
I did not know that Cinderella was 19. I didn't know she was that old. That's
I didn't know Jasmine was 15.
So that's really interesting.
So that's something that kind of makes us a little uncomfortable real quick.
What does?
The Jasmine one for me, in my opinion, the 15 years old.
Yeah.
But this is animation, so you can age up the characters. But anyway, so that was our show on Disney Princesses.
We were so, you know what, guys? Two reschedulings, and you all came. So thank you.
Y'all so
we thought we were going to have Zip because it's just
like nobody's coming, guys. We rescheduled twice.
Okay. Earlier today, we have panic attack and tears because the phone, because she's starting a new job tomorrow, and she was so afraid she wasn't going to have a working phone. Okay, and after they promised that the phone would be done by 2, and then we had to drop everything. We came all the way home, and where we had to go get it fixed was where we'd been earlier, which is like almost 40 minutes away from here. Okay, because we live in a little town called Lehigh Acres, and the big town's Fort Myers, and it's 35 to 40 minutes to get to town. And we had gotten all the way home. She's just beside herself. It's almost 4:00. We're thinking about doing the show, and she's just totally upset. And I made a phone call, and this guy's like, "I can do it. I can fix your phone." So
the accent necessary?
No, but he said he could do it. So we got in the car, and we got all the way over there, And it took about an hour and a half for them to do it, but they got the phone fixed. So thank goodness for that.
So that has been a whole run around things, but we're so glad that you guys came. And since it's the month of June, you want to announce what our next show is going to be?
You go ahead.
So we are going to be discussing every LGBT character on the CW.
Yes.
Or that has been on the CW.
We're going to try to get everybody.
Because they've had their ups and downs, and we thought it would be something interesting to discuss.
And last year we did do a Pride, like our favorite characters from Pride. So Rachel wanted to do another Pride show.
But focusing on the CW, because I think that would be interesting to focus on, considering the CW has very high ups and downs, especially when it comes to their LGBT characters, just like their shows and their seasons. So that's something we'll be doing next time. Thank you all once again for coming. It was amazing to see the output that we had for tonight. Once again, thank you so much. Have
Batwoman.
Batwoman.
She's going to be on there.
She's going to be on there.
So join us in 2 weeks.
Bye, guys.